All right, so it says that we are live, and we're going to give it a few seconds in case people are watching some ads play along here before we get into the hot topic.
That's the easy-to-use vehicle selector on CarParts.com. You get savings of up to 50% and find the right parts.
Okay, guys, welcome to Thursday evening on the Car Guy and Six Fan Show. My name is Jason. Welcome to the show, and tonight we've got some real exciting guests. It's the first time that we've had 3 guests at the same time. But before we get to that, my co-host, who is down below over here somewhere.
Yeah, well, I'm Grant of the channel Straight Six Fan, so I would be Six Fan of this joint venture, Car Guy and Six Fan Show. So welcome, everybody. And we do have quite a few people who've joined us in the chat. This is getting harder and harder as each week goes by, but I'll do my best to say hi to the likes of 66 Nova Mina, Roy Marco's Garage, Coastal Auto Reaction, Left 4 Dead Garage. We've got, who else? Narxo is always a tongue twister, but Narxoleptic Kustoms, stuff with Cletus Garage, David McGraw, Old Cronies Garage. So some new names. I'm sure I've missing quite a few, but some of the old classics like Eford Garage, Hobbins Hot Rods. So welcome, everybody. Enough about that for a second. Let's hand it over to our guests and let them introduce ourselves. But we're happy to have these fine folks above me. There we go. So go ahead and introduce yourself for the crowd.
All right, guys. So if you don't recognize us or haven't ever heard of us, we're from a YouTube channel called Restored. So my name's Lance.
I'm Christian.
And I'm Wyatt.
So that's actually my little sister and my big dad, I guess you'd call him. So we're a 3-man crew and mainly mess with old junky vehicles, I guess you'd say.
Well, that's good because that's why we invited you guys onto the show, because we deal with junk too. What? Imagine that.
Yeah.
So before we get started,
what you can afford.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So before we get started tonight, guys, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder that when the show is hosted on my YouTube channel, you guys have an opportunity to be entered in to win a Forever Sharp steering wheel. And in order to do that, all you have to do is donate a minimum of $1 in the super chat, and that gets you an entry in. So just want to let you guys know that the entries are open, and we're going to jump right into the first question for these guys, and we're going to start with, how's the weather?
So the weather right here is a little out of the ordinary for us. It's below 20 or in the mid 20s or so. It got cold last night, cold, everything iced over. So it's pretty rough for us right now. We're in our office doing our live stream. Typically we would have done it in front of a car out there or something, but we'd have froze to death by the time we kicked the heater off, so it wasn't blowing y'all's eardrums out. So it's cold here in Northeast Texas right now.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, Jason, I don't know if you're aware, but every weatherman that talks about what we're dealing with in the Midwest, it's always the Canadian air mass. So it's thanks to you, you fine folks up there. So we blame it all on you. But as you guys might, the regulars might notice, the background for me is different, and that's because I escaped the cold in Kansas for Key West, Florida. So I come to you live from a hotel room tonight. So I have no complaints here about the weather. But first question for you guys for the Restored group, wanted to kind of try to encapsulate your whole YouTube career. I mean, I know there was a previous chapter involved prior to Restored, but I guess if you just kind of take a look back at the whole journey, what it's all been to you guys, what do you think it was? I say it's kind of a 2-part question. What is it that got you into this game originally? And then what kind of fuels you right now? What keeps you going in the now?
Who wants to start?
You.
Me. So for me, growing up messing with junk, like I'd spoke of, cars, go-karts, bicycles, anything that I could try to get running, I was interested in, just hands-on stuff. Me and Dad, I went to school for it, so a few technical schools and stuff like that. But back in 2008, Dad was willing to start a body shop here in Pagoda with me. So we started our body shop and did that for a little while, but we live in a super small town. So trying to do collision work just wasn't working out the greatest for us. It was paying the bills, but so we started flipping old vehicles on the side, kind of as we could, and just kind of started getting more of an interest in getting the weird and out of the ordinary stuff. And that's kind of what we got known for, is weird and out of the ordinary stuff. People would drive by and ask about all the, I mean, we got like 60 old vehicles lined up on both sides of the highway here. So yeah, the collection started building up, and we decided we wanted to try to put it out there for people to see and kind of show off our collection and show off of what we've been doing. Because a lot of people don't realize, like, when you buy these old vehicles, how you find them sometimes. So, they don't realize that you go out and you've got to cut trees away from, the truck, or you've got to dig them up for a day. And I mean, most people would be like, it's not worth anything. And to us, we would dig them up, we would bring them back, we would clean them up, and we'd flip them for some extra cash. And then everyone saw potential in them after we did that. So that's kind of how it, I know that's kind of a lot of information squished down into a little box there, but for me, that's kind of how it was on us getting started. It was just a passion for cars and wanting to get our shop out there a little bit further than Bogota.
Well, it's funny you say, cutting trees down, because I do remember a particular episode where you guys were doing simply just that, trying to get this old, I believe it was an old GMC maybe out of the pucker brush there one time. But talk about how, I mean, I don't want you to give away any trade secrets, but talk about how it is you actually do come about finding these vehicles that might be way back in the woods somewhere that's been kind of forgotten about for so many years.
So for the most part, I'm always looking online on Craigslist, Marketplace. Something that I'll do is I'll look on Marketplace, but most of the time I look in the background. So, you'll see someone selling an old 3 Civic on Marketplace for $1,200, but you see an old short school bus in the background. That's where I'm, hey, it's an old short school bus for sale. So a lot of times I'm just always looking online, but we have had a lot of people stop by that are just, hey, I've noticed y'all's vehicles, or do y'all buy them? Do you sell them? I know an old guy that has one, he just wants gone, or he just, doesn't want much for it. So in the beginning, it was a lot of searching, but now it seems like they kind of find us on a lot of them.
Well, would you say your average, radius is from where you're at, Northeast Texas, where most of your projects come from? I mean, how far out do you guys typically go?
Mainly 2 to 3 hours as far as us picking them up. I've bought a lot further outside, but most of the time we'll have them shipped in. So those you kind of got to buy, off pictures and hope for the best. But the way I normally do it is, if it's something I'm interested in, I'll normally, if I can't see it in person, I'll normally make them an offer where I know I can get my money back on it. So, I'll kind of go that route. If I'm buying something sight unseen, I'll make them an offer where I'm like, okay, if it gets here and it's just a complete turd, I can at least turn it around and make my money back on it. So, but for the most part, I wouldn't say we normally don't venture out much more than 3 hours if we're just, on our own time picking stuff up.
So we did talk about, I think I made a post about this being a family affair, and obviously we've got a brother, sister, and a father being part of this operation. So I guess just tell us a little bit about the family business and about the channel itself and whose role is what.
I'm going to let you.
Okay. Well, it actually started about in 2008. Lance came to me, and he was wanting to start a business here in Bogota, like he mentioned earlier. And he was just wanting to know if I wanted to go in with him. Of course, I had no experience as far as painting body or anything like that, but it's every father's dream to work with his son or whatever. And it's usually the other way. It's usually the father bringing the son in, but this time it was different. He brought me in, tried to teach me. I tried to do as little as I could to learn. So we went from there, and like I said, we went to the flipping stuff, and it got a lot easier for me because it was messing with the old vehicles like I had grown up learning how to do on, my dad was a mechanic. So, just carburetor and points and, pour a little gas in and you go. I mean, so it was easy for me to pick that up in that. But yeah, he picked it up really well. And like I said, Christian, she stepped aboard and
You did a lot of explaining on me. And
Christian, well, she's just here.
I seen poor little Christian look up when you said it's a father's dream to work with his son.
Yeah.
You just burst her bubble.
No, Dad's basically the one who was like, well, can you hold a camera? Because we kind of need someone to help film our YouTube. And I was like, yeah, I'll do whatever y'all need me to do to help out. And now it's something that I love and I enjoy to work here all the time. So, yeah. Short answer, but.
We worked her into quite a few of the videos here lately and that. We're trying to work her in more, but it's kind of hard to work her in with her also being in the background with the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I was going to ask a similar question to much of that because, Jason and I, we don't have to worry about character development, you say, because it's just us. We're everything, producer, cameraman, person in front of it. So, yeah, so Christian, as you said, you've come to really enjoy that role of operating the camera. Have there been any skills that you found that you've honed over this time frame where hey, I really enjoy doing this part with, working with the camera, whether it's coming up with unique shots or anything or editing skills? Take us through your growth, in that department.
When I came here, I really didn't know much, at all. I took an AV production class and all we did was film on our cell phones and stuff like that. So when I came here, I didn't know what to do. So it was a lot of learning and learning how to even keep a camera still. So yeah, it was a lot of trial and error and a lot of hours we put in, and learning together, I guess, is really the main thing.
Yep, still learning, still growing together. And I tried to show her everything that I kind of knew, but it's just a weird transition. It's a weird thing to be kind of like the boss of your sister or boss of the dad or anything. But that's kind of the part that I sometimes play. So it's a weird deal for me too. But we're definitely growing together, and we're always. I think all of us have this mindset where we want to keep trying to make it better, keep trying to make it better. And sometimes that doesn't always work. We had one that backfired on us really bad or actually our last live chat, we had some audio issues. So, but yeah, it's definitely been a learning curve just because we're just a new group, just trying to start over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and one of the things I guess that I can relate to with you guys is that I run a family business with my dad as well. And we both started in 2008, and I joined him full-time in 2010, and we sell cars is what we do as well. It's all late model stuff. It has nothing to do with the hot rod. It's not very adventurous at all. But how I know sometimes camera may not capture everything that there is to capture, but how do you all get along behind the scenes?
I'm gonna let them answer that too, because I told y'all I was the boss. So
surprisingly, you always hear of there's family drama and all that, but surprisingly, we don't really have that here. We all get along which is probably one of the most boring answers you could get, but we all get along pretty well. I guess God's just really blessed us in that aspect of it.
There's enough age difference between us that we're not real close siblings fighting amongst each other. There's 16 years difference between those two and 21 years difference between me and Lance. So,
and before we even started a YouTube channel, me and him, because it's 16 years difference, we didn't really have that really close relationship until this YouTube channel. So, yeah, it's been completely backwards of what it is usually for other people.
So I take it, Wyatt, your middle name's not Paul Tuttle Sr. then, is what you're saying?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to acknowledge that there have been a lot of super chats coming in, so I wanted to say thanks. I know Jason's keeping track on his end, because if anybody's joined here midstream and doesn't know that every dollar that's donated via super chat, because Jason and I, as we reflected on season 4, felt guilty for receiving super chats and felt like, hey, if people are going to give us money, we want to try to pay them back. So What's up for grabs is a forever sharp steering wheel. Jason has there up in his hand, so just wanted to make that known. But and in fact, as soon as I say that, it looks like Sobering Restoration Services Horsepower Division has dropped another super chat in there. So anyway, well, you mentioned it earlier, Lance. You said the odd stuff, or I think is how you said it, and that's how some attention started coming your way. And Jason and I kind of pride ourselves on some really odd stuff as well. Mostly OPEC era cars, but I hate doing recency syndrome, just looking at whatever is the most recent content, you guys. But it's really hard for me to ignore both the Pacer and Mercury Wagon as some pretty cool projects that are right up our alley. So just take us back maybe to the Pacer and talk us through what possessed you to take on an AMC Pacer.
Well, I actually already have. I had another one that's in pretty good shape. I started to say I'm kind of an AMC guy, but I'm just a car guy. I like AMCs. I like Volkswagens. There's not a whole lot of stuff I don't like, but I already had a pretty clean Pacer, and was going to church one Sunday and seen that poop brown Pacer sitting up on a trailer covered in moss and stuff. So I messaged the guy. I was like, hey, I knew they did like an auction thing there. I was like, hey, is that car going to be for sale there? He said, yeah, it'll be at an auction on such and such date. So we went up there. We were actually filming with that old Honda on a Willys frame. We were finishing up the filming of Wanda, is what we call her. So we went out there, and me and Dad was looking at it. The inside, if y'all seen it, was terrible. And I told Dad, I was like, I'm not going to bid more than $200 on this car. So they got to bidding. It was going up in increments. And if you've ever bid on something, you're like, well, I'll go $25 more. I'll go $25 more. And I think I finally got serious with myself, and I said, I'm not going more than $300. And I got it. So we won that, and we just decided that he was willing to let us try to get it up and running out there. So we're like, we'll try that, see if we can get it up and running. And it took us a little while, but we got her going. And so, yeah, that's kind of how that one spurred off. It was one of those that was semi-close and very cheap.
Well, and that's what it's all about. Anytime you're buying cars, whether it's at a, on an online auction or in-person auction, you only are willing to bid a certain amount. You know what you got tied up into it, but you're going to lose it by such a stupid amount of money sometimes, like $25. So I want to kind of steer the direction into the actual YouTube part of what it is you guys are doing, because obviously you guys have been doing the restored thing since roughly July of last year, and you are growing at a phenomenal rate. And I think we spoke beforehand, on track for 250,000 subscribers by the end of the year. What do you attribute your success to on the channel?
We can all answer that with the same answer on three. It's God. God is the ultimate source on this channel and everything we've conquered or accomplished in life that's been put before us. So I have to give him complete credit on that. We do work really hard on our channel behind the scenes to make things happen, but it'd be a whole nother video for us to sit down and let you guys know of all these things that God has opened the doors on that we had nothing to do with. Just he's opened all these doors and just set things up that made things happen that, it's almost comical to sit back and just be like, how is this even taking place that this is going on? So all God.
Now, some of the smaller things that we can, we say that possibly is being a family that gets along really well. For some reason or other, it seems like people want to see family work well together, and that we get a lot of comments on that. So doing that and working with the poor man tools and that, we're the average shop that's out there that's just trying to make do with what they've got, and sometimes you have to use a screwdriver for a hammer. So
yeah, I think that's well said. I mean, people are usually drawn to the authentic life, is what I like to say, and I think when you can relate to more people on their level, that just it's easier for people to tune into you, because it's like they feel like that's you. But I know you guys said normally you'd be out in the garage with the car behind you, but thanks to Jason's Canadian Air Mass coming down to Northeast Texas, yes, you're in the office, but I couldn't help but notice behind you, Wyatt. I'm guessing that's your, we'll call it company swag. Do you guys want to make a plug for merchandise or anything you guys are selling?
I wish we could. We have all of our restored hats are gone, so those are just some random hats we have sitting up there. So they emailed me yesterday. We've got to go pick them up, but all of our merch sold out right before Christmas. Everything like hats, shirts, everything. So.
We actually did a drawing on that Pacer to give the Pacer away. It was you either could pick the Pacer or you could get $500. Shows how much we thought the Pacer was worth. But we did a drawing, and if you ordered shirts or merch or whatever, you got more names in the pot. So anyways, that's what happened to most of the merch, I think, and Christmas.
Yeah, we got everything should be re-in-stock. We got hats now. I just got to pick them up, and shirts should be here next week. So,
well, we got another $20 super chat from Mortsky Repair coming to you from South Dakota, I think. One of the Dakotas, anyways. Appreciate that, Tom. Thanks for doing that. And he says in his chat, community, not competition. And I wanted to talk about that real quick because something that we kind of pride ourselves a little bit with on this live stream is with folks like Tom Mortsky and Coastal Auto Reaction, the car guys, and Grant, and there's a bunch of others who are in here who are a part of this community, not competition, and it's all about basically supporting one another. We're all doing the same thing, and that's trying to create some entertainment for people to watch on YouTube. And we're not trying to outdo anybody. We're trying to do our own thing, and we want to make sure that everybody knows that, we're all in it together. And part of the reason why we invite guests on the show is to, share them and get the word out. And obviously, you guys are a pretty successful channel. There's not too many people out there who probably don't know who you are. But the fact that you're willing to join smaller channels like us shows us that you really, truly are a part of that community. So we want to thank you for doing that tonight.
Oh, absolutely. We were excited when we got the offer on it. So first time we've ever really sat down and done like an interview online. We've had some interviews in the paper, but for the most part, they just call us on the phone and we just answer awkward questions and see what the write-up is later on.
Well, that's the other thing Jason and I pride ourselves on is the no awkward question policy. Yeah, no, just kidding. We've got our buckets full of those for sure. But what I wanted to take his comment a little further with was what we do pride ourselves on too is with this whole idea of community, not competition, is to learn from each other. And so that's why we reach out to other channels because, Jason and I have developed our own tips and tricks over the years and things we've learned and, lessons you've learned the hard way. So that's why it's always nice to have a third voice in the room. It's been a quick rise for you guys. So like Jason said, you're on pace for 250,000 subs, but in this already like less than a calendar year almost, what are some of the bigger takeaways that you guys have found doing this all on your own now?
Well, we started incorporating a lot of live videos as far as like trying to get vehicles up and running live revivals is what we call them. So as far as I know, that there aren't any other car channels that are doing that yet. As far the way we do it, we have set up multi-cameras and stuff like that. We really enjoy doing that because we feel like we can interact with the fan base a little bit better. There's nothing that we can hide on the vehicle. When we produce and edit a video, if we want it to look like we, went up to an old car and turn the key on and crank, you can make it look like it does that, And with these lives, I mean, it's raw, it's unedited. They are long for the most part, but it's been fun to us to try to figure out the technique on that one thing, the complications and this and that, and then also just being able to try to grow in a different avenue of something that I really haven't been seeing a lot on YouTube. So I'm hoping that there'll be some more people that kind of pop on there and do that. Because I think a lot of people like seeing a struggle. They like seeing a struggle, but then they like seeing a win, within the struggle. So I don't know. I may have got way off course on your actual question there, but
And it's kind of funny because you can be doing stuff on lives, and the people are commenting in the background. And I mean, we did something. I don't remember what vehicle it was, but we had lost a little clip that was on the float in the carburetor. I think it was a Bronco. But anyways, we were like, well, we don't know what to do with that. And somebody commented, use a piece of, copper wire from a cord or something like that. Of course, if we'd have done that ourselves, we'd have been called out, oh, you stupid, this and that. But when we use a comment that comes off of somebody that's watching us, they were geniuses, and then, here we are, and it works for us. So it's kind of funny that, they'll accept those answers, but they won't accept a person that's actually showing what they need to be doing what they're doing. And I got that lost. So.
Hey, we've got Nick Panaritas from Nick's Garage popped in to say hi, and we appreciate Nick for showing up. He's actually going to be a guest on the show later on in the season, and so if you guys are in the chat and you want to you want to ask a question of the Restored crew, go ahead and pop them in the chat. We'll try and get those answered before we finish up here tonight. And I see we got CP Tool Addicts has also given another $30 super chat, as well as Hobbins Hot Rods, a $5 super chat. Thank you guys for doing that. We're going to put your names into the draw for the steering wheel. So I guess we're at kind of the point where we maybe ask you guys, what's coming up or what's up and coming on the Restored channel that you may want to give us a little teaser for.
Yeah, so we are working on right now a 66 Volkswagen Beetle that we're going to do our Herbie the Love Bug style build on. We were just filming on that today, so I've got going to slam the car down. I bought all the suspension parts to do that, some cool wheels. Going to throw some logos. We like to logo our stuff up to kind of give it a little bit more personality. So we're going to do some cool logos on it, roof rack. I told them, I was like, we put a lot of time in our produced and edited videos. Like, it just takes us a while. We haven't really figured out the perfect technique to, when you just have one camera person and you're trying to make these, multi-angle looking shots, it's challenging. Mm-hmm. So anyways, it takes us a little while. And I told him, I was like, let's really try to make this one of the best videos that we've put out. Let's try to make a 1 million view video. So that's where we're at right now. We're trying to make a 1 million viewed video. I don't care how long it takes to get there. That's that's the goal. So if it's 20 years down the road and it gets 1 million views, we'll be happy.
We'll keep an eye out for the Herbie style build. I think that's, I'm 35, and that's a fairly, that's my childhood youth. So even I'm excited. But I know one of the questions that came in way early in the chat from one of the commenters, and I apologize because I didn't note who was asking the question, but they were asking, when will you do a British car on the channel?
I don't know. Do we have anything along those lines right now? Isetta. Yeah, we did do a little Isetta on one of the lives that had it was a hack. It had a Volkswagen rear end on it and stuff. We've got a few Izettas. Other than that, I don't really know. I don't guess we come across them a whole lot. So we never really know what our next video is going to be a whole lot. We just try to decide on, what come in fresh. I mean, we just bought a 49 short Dodge school bus, and it was very spur of the moment showing up here. And I was like, oh, we'll probably do a live on it, because it's got a super cool patina on it, old flathead 6-cylinder in it that looks like it was pulled out of the Titanic. So pull it in and see. Those are the fun ones to me, the ones that look like they shouldn't work and try to get them to work.
And one of our regulars, Novataz, has asked a question. What was your personal favorite revival?
What do you think was your favorite?
I have mine. Mine was the Isetta, because I had no hope whatsoever that thing was going to start. I thought, we're going to have a video of them working on something and have to disappoint people and not ever get it running. And when it did, I wish there would have been a camera on me too, because I probably had the best reaction out of all of us. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is running. But yeah, that one's my favorite.
I guess mine would be the 57 210 we got to work with Derek from Vice Grip. I mean, great guy. I mean, it was a great honor to be able to work with him in that. But yes, that was actually Christian's car. It was going to be her car, and she decided to go a different route and go with the Ranchero instead. But yeah, that was a great episode for me to work with Derek and that. So
mine would probably be that one, or I really enjoyed the little Mercury wagon, the first part of it. It was a fun little car because covered in rat's nest, and I wish we would have had a little bit more time to go ahead and run a fuel pump to that carburetor, because pretty much after the video we did that and it sat there and idled. So we were so close just to being a lot more of a victory, but we were trying to keep it. It's bad when your video is 2 hours long and you want to go a little longer.
Yep, everybody knows that struggle. It's easy to make videos too long for sure. But Wyatt, I'm glad you mentioned Derek from Vice Grip Garage, because I think it was Classic Drivers Garage earlier in the chat had asked the question what that experience was like working with Derek. So I'm sure you probably wrote down some good one-liners at the very least from the hours you spent with him. But what's it like working with Derek?
So he's pretty much who you see on video is. I mean, that's who he is, because he got here a little early and we went and ate at there's not many places to eat here in Pagoda, so we went and ate at the gas station and got to sit down and try to, because this was the first time we've ever met, talk through text a little bit. So tried to destroy any kind of awkwardness there might be before we're live in front of how many people, but yeah, he is pretty much who you see on camera. I feel like he held back though. Yeah. I feel like he straightened, like he kind of was a little bit more professional style on our video there. At least I've seen a lot of comments of other people saying that as well. So yeah.
He's very, very sweet guy. There's a lot of people who, when they know Restored, they know Dad and Bub, and so they don't really know me very much because of, it's Dad and Bub. They're the star of the show. But he's always been very nice and recognizes me and a lot of stuff, so I really appreciate that.
And he even called her out on the burnout videos and that, which was
so much fun. So much fun.
That was our first burnout, and we weren't really sure how she was going to do on it and that, so we said, well, just get in there and try it. And Lance started the camera just in case, and it just took off, and it was an awesome burnout. So.
And I must admit, she played it very cool while eating that sandwich. That was priceless. On your last video, you guys inadvertently got me hooked on Micah and his doodling and his artwork. In fact, I've commissioned him to do one for me that he's working on right now. So in the shared screen there, you can see that he's doing a kind of a doodle or a drawing on that Mercury wagon. And if you guys haven't seen that video yet, take a look and go over and see what he's doing over there, and follow Micah as well, because he's pretty talented and he's doing it all by hand, but on a computer as well. So it's pretty ingenious to be able to do something like that. Any other questions that we see coming from the chat there, Grant?
Well, I think we got lucky. We can kind of double dip. I think Sobering was asking kind of for Christian's take on her first burnout, kind of walking through what that day was like for her. So
it was definitely scary, because I just knew that something was going to go wrong and I was going to go through like the wall or something. And they were like, you got to make sure your foot's on the brake. Got to make sure you push it all the way. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill us all. I know I am. But as soon as I finally did it, Dad was in the background trying to tell me which way to go faster. That way, he could kind of help me a little bit. But I finally just took over, and oh my goodness, it was so much fun. I'm excited to do another one. So, and then the sandwich was good too. So
I can never pass up a good sandwich. Let's see here. We're just kind of browsing through the chat and see what else is on there. We're getting pretty close to closing time here. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to chat about before we end tonight's live stream?
I'd just like to say to the fans, we've had some really good fans. We kind of were hesitant about bringing Christian in because, with today's world, as crazy as it is, but the fans have been real respectful of her, and they've really stepped up, and we've had some defender and this and that. So I mean, it's kind of neat that you've got this family out there in the internet world that's standing behind you and taking up for anything that's going on here in the family. So.
Yeah, and I feel like there's probably a lot of people that are watching this live stream or y'all's live chats and stuff that are running their YouTube channels. So we all know there's a lot of work that goes behind it. And so it's very important to have a good fan base that supports you and stuff, because Dad, I mean, he's right. I mean, we've got a great fan base that's been supportive of us. We've tried to put videos out as fast as we can. It's just challenging, and to know that they've hung around and helped us. We love to get comments of, hey, music's too loud or this and that, things that help to make our channel a little better. We definitely take that as good.
And Lance is always getting like information from other YouTubers out there that, contact him. We're having issues with connecting to the internet through some camera or something like that. And he's made really good friends that have just, y'all talk about community, not competition in that. And I mean, there's people out there that are really helping to push that and help things grow.
And it looks like we got a question coming in from the chat that's asking you guys, are you going to have any more guests on the Restored channel? So we had Derek from Vice Grip Garage a while back. Any plans for some future guests?
Not that I know of right at this moment. When Derek left, I told him, I was like, man, if we're ever up in the area, we'd definitely like to, collab on your end as well. That was honestly a very spur of the moment, thrown together type deal. He let us know he was in the area, and he was wanting to stop by to put his car up on the lift to check some things out. So we were like, hey, do you want to do a live with us while you're here? And so we were trying to get everything set up. But no, as far as I know, we don't have anything lined up right now. We're pumping real hard to get that Volkswagen video out, and then we're going to be doing a couple more live revival videos in between that. So.
Well, I think before we kind of wrap this up or close it out, because Jason, you haven't had a chance to tell us what's coming up on Old Car Guys channel yet, but I guess maybe the last question we'll throw the way of the Restored channel is, Lancey, we're talking about how good it is to have, the fan base is what keeps you going. And I know even for myself, like I had one gentleman once reach out to me and said they really enjoyed watching my videos because this gentleman had like MS and is no longer able to physically work on cars. And so he's like, I feel like I can vicariously live through you, and I really like what you do. And I, like when I got into it, I never expected anything, of that magnitude to really reach somebody or touch somebody that way. I'm sure you guys have some really great stories of fans who've reached out to you and told you stories. So if you have any good stories to share from that department, I think we'd certainly like to hear them. Yeah,
my mind was triggered right to one direction when you were talking about that. So for me, it is little kids, little people, little guys that I'm like, you're 6 years old. How are you interested in our show? But we've had so many young kids that are interested in our show and fans of the show and stuff like that. But there was a little boy, I think he was only around 5 at the time when I met him. His name was Drew, and he's from Arkansas. His family brought him down, and I got to meet him. And he was a fan of the show. He knew more about the cars we were working on than Dad did. So he could tell you everything about what we were working on, this and that, just super slick. And I've been able to keep up with him. But for me, that's what it is. That's what really it kind of pushes me the most, or I notice the most, is just how young kids are drawn to the show. And it just blows my mind how God is able to use what we're doing to interest a little kid. So yeah, that's for me, that's what it is.
One of the things that, and I thought that was, I didn't think that was the direction he was going. I was thinking he was going the direction of, my older brother was in one of the videos with us. We went out to, he showed us where this swampy land was that had some old vehicles in there and that, and we got to actually video him helping us there at the first of it. Now, and that was on a Friday. The following Monday, he passed away. and the fans, the way they came in and, you know, sent their condolences and everything like that. And I mean, and still today, I looked at several today where they're still watching that and saying, you know, Frankie felt just like part of the family. We're sorry that this happened and that. You know, it's and my mom, it was heartbreaking for her, but she was able to read comments and stuff, and that helped her get through, you know, a really tough time. So, you know, the fans are really just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that kind of leads right back to, you know, anything that you put on the internet is there forever. So be kind to everybody when you're typing comments. There's no need to be, you know, that bad troll. Just leave a nice comment. Encourage people to do what they're doing because they're doing it because they love to do it. Grant asked what's coming up on Old Car Guy in the near future. Well, I will tell you that I will not have a regular upload ready for you guys tomorrow night. I was working pretty hard on trying to get the Car Guy and Six Fan promo video done that Grant and I put together, as well as the solo B-roll video that went up earlier this week. So if you guys don't know what the solo B-roll challenge is, it's a challenge that we put out to you as creators to come up with a 90-second video that features you, one camera, all by yourself, and that is the challenge. It is 90 seconds to put the B-roll together with some royalty-free music and upload it before March the 7th at midnight. And I say midnight in general terms because wherever you are, midnight is midnight, depending on the time zone. So as long as it's time-stamped or date-stamped March the 7th, you're golden. So we hope that we can get that. We've got well over a dozen people who are committed to do the solo B-roll challenge. We're going to have some fun with that. There's a prize involved in that as well. And we're going to be giving away a pretty good quality microphone for your vlogging efforts on your camera. So make sure that you have the opportunity to join in with that as well. Grant, what is coming up on Straight Six Fan in the near future?
Well, since I am still on vacation, I honestly don't really know what's next on Straight Six Fan. But no, I will say this: it won't be the next upload, but the one after that would be upload 400 on my channel. And I'm stealing a page out of the Car Guy book and doing a little celebratory something with the help of some friends here on YouTube. So look for that. You know, I think I'm at 398 uploads right now, so we'll fill some space with something for $3.99, and then we'll have some fun at 400. So,
well, that's great. I'm pretty stoked about that because I was invited to be a part of that, and I'm really looking forward to helping you put that one together. And congratulations, by the way, on getting up to that 400 upload. That is basically it, guys. That's the Car Guy and Six Fan Show for today. And we want to thank Lance and Christian and Wyatt for joining us and being a part of the show. Guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Well, and I guess the only thing to follow up with there, Jason, is first off, thanks for all of you who've come in and chat. And this is the first time you've attended a Car Guy and Six Fan Show. If you've enjoyed your time on this show, just note that it is a joint operation between Jason and I's channel, so we bounce back and forth who hosts every other week. So it'll be on my channel next week, Straight Six Fan, I always forget this is backwards, whatever. So I have it typed out there. But otherwise, that's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, peace out.